I have something to confess to you. Not too long ago, I didn't like you very much. I guess I had to admit that I hated the way you treated me. You treated me really rotten, you know. When I used to come to the marketplace, you shunned me. Some of you laughed at me. You'd grab your children and try to take them away from me to protect them. To protect them from me. And you'd whisper. I hated the whispers. You see that woman over there, don't you? Some perversion, no doubt. You called me corrupt. You said I was unclean. You shouted at me, unclean, unclean, you're unclean. Get out of the way, what are you doing here? It's just that I was sick. That's all. I was sick and in pain, and nobody cared. I was bleeding, and nobody cared. I was bleeding, so I spent all my life savings on doctors and medicines. It was no use. I lost everything, but nobody cared. I had nothing. I felt nothing but pain and emptiness, except for the bleeding. Every day for the last 12 years, I felt my life fading away. I had dreams too, you know. I dreamt of having a husband and children, a real family, you know. I wanted to have a little girl who would sit on my lap and I would tell her stories that my mom told me. I wanted someone to hold my hand as I grew older. But my dreams were shattered by this sickness. And my hopes crumbled by the way you treated me. But I'd listen to you when you didn't notice me sitting here in this marketplace begging for something. That's when I heard about Jesus and the wonderful things that he did. He cured a man who was possessed by demons. He raised a man from the dead. And he healed a leper, an untouchable, like me. And I began to hope again. I thought that if I could get close enough, if he'd let me get close enough, then just maybe I could get healed and be made whole again. He came yesterday. You remember, don't you? In this marketplace, everybody crowded around. Everyone wanted to come near him and hear what he had to say, so much that you didn't notice me. So I was able to get close. All I kept thinking is if I could just touch him, the hem of his garment, then maybe I could get healed. That's all I could think about. So I got close. And it happened. I touched it. I felt such power, such power going through my entire body. I couldn't breathe. I felt it. Something was different. The bleeding stopped. I was healed. I was healed. But then I started to panic. I started to move away. But then he spoke. Who touched me? He said, who touched me? And that's when you noticed me. You turned around and started to move away from me because I was unclean to you. The untouchable. I was so ashamed. And what made matters worse is that I touched him. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. So I fell at his feet. And then the most wonderful thing happened. He put his hand on my shoulder and brought me to my feet. He touched me. He didn't only touch me on my shoulders, but he touched me on the inside, in my heart, in my soul, in all of me. And I started to tell him my story. And once I started, it all poured out. And when I was finished, he smiled at me. And he said, daughter, your faith has healed you. And with that one sentence, he changed my life. He didn't only heal me of my sickness, but he healed me on the inside. But there was something else. Before I left, he said, go in peace. Go in peace. Now I have a confession to make. I didn't like you very much for the way you treated me. I guess I have to admit that I hated you for the way you treated me. But part of my healing is to go in peace. So I come to you today to ask you for my forgiveness for hating you. Will you forgive me? Will you accept me? What does it take to change a person's heart? What does it take for another person to understand another person's need and respond to it? I think I'm beginning to understand that now. And I promise you, I will never, ever hate you again. All I can do now is thank that man, Jesus, who healed me and gave me peace. And I hope that one day you will find that peace. No, I believe that you will. Go with Christ. Go in peace.